Should the Houston Texans claim Baker Mayfield off waivers and add another downtrodden QB to the room? We'll talk about it here on the YouTube channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Thanks for watching today. Appreciate you tuning in. Please take a minute to subscribe, comment, thumbs up this video. We got lots to get into. All right, Baker Mayfield released by the Carolina Panthers. Plenty of reports coming out that he is on waivers, and he apparently asked for his release to get out of Carolina. So what does this mean for the Houston Texans? Would they be interested in grabbing Baker Mayfield to finish out the season? Well, first of all, I had to figure out exactly how much the money aspect is. The Texans don't have a lot of cap room, and so I went to the best expert when it comes to money, Texans Cap on Twitter. He said the Texans have the money to do it. They'd have to restructure a thing or two to bring Baker Mayfield in. That actually finds itself as a bit more of a hurdle than a positive for Mayfield ending up here in Houston. There's three reasons why I wouldn't do anything with Baker Mayfield if I was the Houston Texans. There's just not enough time for something with Baker Mayfield and this team. The Texans are going to play a handful more games, and then their season is going to be over. You got to imagine Mayfield's not of use this week at all, and then there would be another week ramping up, getting him ready, and then he plays a handful of games at the end of the year. There's just not enough time for Baker Mayfield to make any sort of impact, to find out anything about Baker Mayfield. There's just not enough time left in this season for Baker Mayfield. The second thing is this coaching staff is not going to be the coaching staff that's coaching next year, it would seem. Even if Lovie Smith gets to retain his job, which is going to be a discussion on this channel a ton over the course of the rest of the season, even if Lovie Smith gets to keep his job, Baker Mayfield is going to be coached by a different offensive coordinator next year. So the next few weeks with Pep Hamilton, and then a new offensive coordinator next year, if Mayfield decided to stick around in free agency, that just doesn't line up as something that's useful for not only Mayfield, but useful for the Houston Texans. And oh, by the way, we're not even sure if Pep Hamilton is going to stay the offensive coordinator over the course of this season. The last reason is next year you're drafting a quarterback. Baker Mayfield's a free agent at the end of this year, so you're not really building a base with Baker Mayfield to bring him back and have him be a part of this organization next year. And certainly, even if you felt like you could get Baker Mayfield in here, you could get him coached up on the offense. You didn't care who the next coach was or who the next offensive scheme was. You really wanted to keep Baker Mayfield. Do you want that guy starting the season ahead of a rookie? No, you don't. Do you want that guy teaching a rookie quarterback? No, you don't. So with Baker Mayfield not even being a factor in next year's plans, that's another reason I wouldn't even do it with Baker Mayfield. Not to mention, he's a free agent. You got to imagine Baker's going to try to bounce around and try to find himself a quarterback room where he can beat the other person out and maybe even start or beat them out at some point over the course of the season and start for that team. That's not happening with a 2023 quarterback at the top of the draft. If this was a year ago, if this was literally 1 year ago with no quarterback options in the draft in sight, because remember, by this time last year, we knew that the quarterback class was not good in the NFL draft. If this was a year ago, I'd maybe take a swing at Baker Mayfield. If there was no good quarterbacks coming up in the upcoming draft, I'd bring him in, see if you could convince him to hang around for a little bit. He's a better option than Kyle Allen. He could fight Davis Mills for the job in training camp next year, but there's quarterback options. There will even be free agent options if you want to go that route and you're the Houston Texans. It just doesn't make sense in 2022 for 2023. It made a tiny bit more sense in 2021 for 2022. So with those three things, not enough time to figure out if Baker Mayfield is any good at anything, not enough of this coaching staff for this year, not like they're going to coach the team next year. You wouldn't even have a chance for them to build a relationship or put anything together. And this coaching staff's not making decisions for 2023's roster right now. That's a Nick Caserio thing. And lastly, it just doesn't make sense from a timeline perspective because you won't be able, I don't believe, to convince Mayfield to stick around here. And most importantly, Baker Mayfield's not a better option in 2023 than starting a rookie from week one or having a veteran start a couple of weeks and have the rookie overtake them. A veteran who's been around a lot longer than Mayfield and wants to teach a rookie, not a veteran like Baker Mayfield. Yes, he's better than Kyle Allen. Yes, he's better than Davis Mills, it would think. But if you even got him in here, it would take too much time to get him going. And what does it really give you? It doesn't give you a chance. It doesn't give Mayfield an opportunity to rebuild any value over the next couple weeks. I got to imagine Baker Mayfield's looking for a chance to rebuild value as he heads into free agency. So that's a no for me on Baker Mayfield. It's a thought process. It's a consideration. You should have the conversation in the building, but I would assume that the Houston Texans, Nick Caserio, and all the decision makers would come to the same decision you and I have here on this channel. Baker Mayfield, not a fit right now for the Houston Texans. Wouldn't do it. Not for the Texans. Not for me. Is it for you? Let me know in the comments below if you would like to disagree. We can have a happy, healthy discussion in the comments if you'd like. Thank you for taking the time to watch. We got plenty of more original content coming on the station, plus some of the best and brightest highlights from the Wheelhouse. Catch me, my two co-hosts, Jake Asman and Brad Kellner, on the Wheelhouse, ESPN 97.5 weekdays from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., 97.5 and 92.5 FM on your radio in Houston. We have an app. You can stream it anywhere, and you can also watch us on Twitch. Just type in ESPN 975 and watch the show on Twitch as well. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. We'll talk in the comments. Don't forget to rate this video with a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate your time, as always, here on the channel. I'm Cody Stoots.